Hi from Newcastle, South Africa, and this is 2 minutes of truth walking, allowing alignment. Very often we set boundaries, excuse me, and boundaries are good. As a woman, especially, I'm a fan of boundaries. Yet, we need to examine those boundaries. Do we use them as rules? Do we use them as fences to fence ourselves in? I always say this about fences in South Africa. Some people build really high fences and have razor wire and maybe palisades, and one can understand the thinking behind that. But what I say is if it keeps someone out, it keeps you in as well. So when one sets boundaries, often that is the reason that we don't allow alignment. We've set boundaries for a reason. Something has taken place in our lives. We have a story, and the boundaries take care of us. The boundaries ensure that we honor our beings, that we honor ourselves. That's a really great thing. So how can we allow alignment? How can we not allow the boundaries to fence us in? And the one thing, a technique that's really great is take whatever boundaries, whatever boundary you've set. Let's just take one particular boundary that you've set. Um, Take the story behind that boundary. Why did you set the boundary? I'll go into my own life. I set the boundary not to allow anyone into my space when they don't nourish that space. When it's not good for me, I will not allow them into my space. That's a really great boundary for me. Reason being, because in the past, there had been people in my space that it felt like they were emotionally injuring me, as if they were spiritually injuring me. And I wanted to put a stop to that, to honor my own being. I did emotional healing. I healed in many different ways, and this is now the boundary that I set. Okay, so the 2 minute technique is to untell my story, untell what happened in the past, step out of my past, step out of my history for the moment. One's past and one's history does have a value if you, again, allow it to have the value. But for now, step out of the past. If you just close your eyes, if you were someone with no past, no history, no future, and now this moment is your only connection point, origin point, it's the only thing right now, this moment. What does your heart want? What do you want? And I'm opening my eyes because what my heart would want is nourishment. What my heart does want is nourishment. It wasn't about that I have to stop this from happening and I have to stop the injury. What my heart really wants is nourishment. Being emotionally abused or injured is not consistent with nourishment. So when I went into, instead of the boundaries, when I went into what does my heart want, it wants the nourishment. What is the need for that nourishment? Being in a space that nourishes me physically, emotionally, and spiritually. That's what I'm going to do. So I've untold my story. I've surrendered the past, but I am allowing alignment. I am not going to disallow anything into my space which may be new and unknown, but which may nourish me in a way that I don't yet know. I know what I do want. I want the nourishment. Anything that stops being nourishment, I will walk away from. I don't need to immediately disallow anything that I don't know. So this is the no rule life. I'm not going to have any rules about not allowing anyone I don't know into my space, even into my emotional space. But I am going to be open and allow myself to be nourished by feeling out that connection, feeling out that energy. And in that moment, if it feels good, it comes into my space. If it doesn't, it goes, or I walk away. And that's all it is. That's the no rule life. That is 2 minutes of truth walking, and that's a 2-minute technique that you can just check in with yourself. Love and light to you. See you tomorrow.